I saw my own report and I had lost by 2 marks. So you had this thought, 2 marks, तो 4 question छोड़ दिए होते तब भी आ जाते. It's not just about, how knowledgeable you are. It ends up being showing up every day, showing up despite you knowing that you might fail, despite you knowing you might drown.
So why is consolidation more important than solving endless resources?
It's okay if you do number of resources more, but at the end you should know this is my weakness. Ultimately, the exam is all about you knowing everything till the end and vomit it out all on one day. If you're not able to do that, then there is no purpose. ठीक है, बुरी हालत तो बहुत पहले भी थी, अभी भी है, तो हिम्मत पहले भी की थी, अब भी है, कर लेते हैं.
You feared microbiology the most, yet it became one of your strongest subjects.
I feel fear, it's like ना डर के आगे जीत है. So sometimes you just have to face your fear and it can become your one of the strengths.
Some journeys are built over years. Some are changed in just a few decisive weeks. Today's stories challenges the belief that the intelligence is fixed, that ranks define destiny, or that success belongs only to the naturally gifted. From a NEET UG rank of 11,000 to a 21 nation that opened the doors of the aims from a classic MBBS student to learning the real science behind the competitive exams. From a heartbreak in failed attempts to finally mastering performance, mindset, and momentum. This is a story of discipline, self-awareness, and quiet courage. So please welcome Dr. Sakshita. Now she is radiology resident at MGN Indore and waiting for the third round. And AIMS Bhatinda graduate, NEET PG All India rank 1144 and INI rank 789. And a doctor who believes that a rank is only an opportunity, never an identity. So let's begin. So hello, Dr. Sakshita. Welcome to Salaah Shots.
Hello, sir.
So how are you?
I'm very good, sir. How about you? How are you?
Same here. So you say very clearly that one exam day doesn't define you. But when you got a NEET UG rank of 11,000 in 2019, did it feel defining then?
It definitely felt, sir. At that time, we used to give NEET UG and the result used to come 1 month later. Although the day I gave exam, I know I messed it up very bad, but I was somebody who was expecting a 4-digit rank, but a 5-digit rank felt like a nightmare. I will say a part of me sank a lot when I received that rank. So because I know I'm much better than that. So at that time, I could just only pray that the AIMS exam result would be in few weeks. So I was just praying that it must be better, although I was not feeling any good chance in that also.
Okay. So your AIMS UG rank jumped to 1307 in just 21 days. So what changed in those 3 weeks, mentally, emotionally, and strategically?
So basically the moment I came out of my NEET entrance hall, I knew that I had missed exam. I left 10 questions of physics, which was one of my strongest subject at that time, but still I messed up. I lost 10 questions and I knew that marks would not be very great. I calculated marks, they were around 580ish, and I was somebody who was going who was getting 640s in my tests. So it was like a major downfall for me. And I was very upset. I remember wetting 2-3 pillows of my home, and my parents were just like, "ठीक है, 584 means 5,000, 6,000 rank. एक government college मिल जाएगा, but still आपको अपने दिल में पता होता है that you are much better than this rank." So I had just 2 options: either give up or just go for it all. I just see one more exam, AIMS exam, 21 days later, which was my dream. So I thought I can either fight for it or just be sad about my NEET exam and cry. So I thought, let's give it all. So I just gave everything I had, like mentally, emotionally, कि ठीक है, let's do it. And फिर रोने के लिए तो एम्स के बाद बहुत टाइम है, तो तब रोएंगे.
Okay, so 16 hours a day, sleepless nights, and no distractions. So how did you sustain that intensity and why did it work?
So 16 hours, basically, it went like, us time pe AIMS exam, it used to have this GK section. So my day used to start with the UPSC CSE video where there was daily news. So I used to watch it for 1 hour with breakfast, then just revise formula copies and One thing I had did during NEET UG also, that I gave little less number of GTs than expected. Although I appeared for mocks, but not that much. And AIMS was an online exam, AIMS UG. So the good part was that I didn't had to go to center, so I was at home. So I practiced a lot of AIMS GTs, reviewed it, and always there was this back thing going in my mind, that moment of NEET UG exam. That when the time was over, I was not able to do exam. So kind of that was replaying in back of my mind, so it didn't let me sleep. I still remember 2 3 days straight not sleeping, and then just crashing a whole single day. So it's like that fear of not failing again was the one thing that kept me going through those 21 days, that let's give it our best shot, and then we will see what happens.
So you describe your MBBS as very classic, nothing extraordinary. So why do you think normal journeys are often underestimated?
Sir, I think normal journeys are underestimated because they are not heard by many people, and moreover, most of the journeys on the surface feels normal, but at certain levels they have their own achievement. If I talk about my own batchmates, there are a lot of people I know who didn't get very amazing ranks, but still they got their desired branches. And I feel just those kinds of journeys are not heard. And I feel there is this is the point where Salaah Shots plays a very important role in bringing out the stories of all the mentors, including yours, including me.
Okay. So nowadays, when anyone joining their MBBS and from their first year they start preparing for the post graduation NEET PG or INI-CET, they're not focusing on the standard textbook. They're just joining the platforms and they are starting preparing for the other exams. So you relied on the standard textbooks, postings and props. So how important is it for the student to stop chasing shortcuts during MBBS?
Sir, although it's a very personal thing, but if I have to take my own point, I feel we all, a part of us took MBBS because we liked medicine. And I think videos and platforms that have been created, they have been created with the sense that to help us. But with times, people are replacing it with the main textbooks, with the fear that we won't be able to remember it. I still remember my juniors asking me that, boss, did you have any benefit of reading these big textbooks? Like, ultimately, do you even remember anything about them? But I said them that at that point, they have concepts, and videos are something which should be used in assistance. I mean, we are losing that essence of, reading books where it has become that we have to score highest in profs, but it should not be like that. I mean, Robin still is one of my favorite books. I mean, I enjoyed a lot studying it, and there's still a lot of concepts that I hold back to it. Even during my PG preparation, I remember studying anatomy, going back to BDC, because I had that picture of, that particular section key. I had studied it from there during the hall or during the anatomy lectures. So it helps you later on a lot. If you have studied from main book, those concepts stay with you. So I feel that you should not give up by the fact that the big books, we will not be able to do that. In fact, if you annotate it in the right way, I think you will be able to do it. I remember people of my batch only switching to certain books which had, just made Robins in a very short form. But I think that if you convert your own books into your own notes, they are pretty much more doable.
Okay, so you feared microbiology the most, yet it became one of your strongest subjects. So what does that say about fear and potential?
Sir, most of the people in second year, I think they fear pharma. I think I was very opposite in this sense, and I actually liked pharma because I think it was one of those subjects which gave that feeling of being a doctor. That you can brag that I know this medicine to relatives or to any other non-medico friend. Microbiology, at our point, the whole curriculum changed. They included systems with the infections, and it became a lot. Like, one chapter of one microorganism was not just microbiology, it was pathology with pharmacology. So it felt like studying medicine, and it became very fearful. Like, I thought, how I will remember these scientific names of all the microorganisms with every single feature. But thanks to the platforms available online, I watched videos, I get to understand, and I revise the subject again and again. So yeah, I also can't believe that in fact micro is one of the subjects I've scored highest in my entire MBBS. So I feel fear, it's like वो कहते हैं ना, डर के आगे जीत है. So happened with me like that. I like faced it so much, I studied it so much that it ended up becoming one of my strongest subjects in MBBS also, and during my PG exam also. So sometimes you just have to face your fear, and it can become your one of the strengths.
Okay, so most of us just focus on academic things while doing our uh, MBBS and internship and all. So while others started PG prep during the your MBBS or internship, like and you were doing fests, conferences, research, and other posters, presentation, and all. So do you regret that phase, or do you see value in it now?
Initially, sir, when I started my PG prep, I did regret it a bit, because there were those people only who had, started their PG prep in the third year, who were getting ranks in the first time INI-CET only. And I felt like I had wasted a lot of time. It was of no use, and I used to regret it sometimes. But obviously, at that moment when that feeling of regret came to me, the feeling of joy also came, of the moments I had, beautiful moments I had with my batchmates, with my close friends of the fests, and the learning experience I had doing my STS project, the research experience I had. And you remember those beautiful moments you had with your batchmates, going here and there, roaming here and there, because fests and conferences are more about having those moments rather than just being a part of it. So I think when those beautiful memories came, it just removed all that regret. And now that I have cleared the exam, they all are just a bunch of beautiful memories I have, beautiful learning experiences I have with my close friends, and I still remember them. So yeah, it was initially a regret, but now it is a beautiful memory, and it is a part of relief that okay, I did enjoy my MBBS a little bit and not just focus on studying.
Okay, so you have admitted your biggest weakness was lack of consolidation. So why is consolidation more important than solving endless resources?
So during my UG preparation, I did a lot of physics and chemistry, because we all know that physics is a bit difficult than other subjects for most of us. So I solved a lot of books. I have lost count. In fact, one of my rack is filled with physics books. And but by the time I was coming to the end of NEET UG preparation, I realized I'm not able to revise those books. So basically, if you are not able to revise it, ultimately the exam is all about you knowing everything till the end and just vomit it out all on one day. If you're not able to do that, then there is no purpose. And moreover, you solving a resource and not coming back to it, not revising it, is of no point. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I did. My NEET UG also lagged because I was not able to remember at last all the formulas that were required. I had solved a lot of number of books, but I was not able to revise them. And in those 3 weeks, if I did something different, was that I revised again and again the formula so that I remember it in the exam. So basically, it's okay if you do number of resources more, but at the end you should know that this resource, I knew that this is my weakness. It's like if you just keep on doing resources, you will be repeating same mistake until unless you recognize the mistake, know it that this is my weakness, and repeatedly see that this is where I need to improve and focus more on that part.
Okay, so in final year only you started watching the rapid revision videos and all, and then suddenly you stopped. Yet later it made perfect sense. Why?
So I took a BTR subscription, for the sake, let's just take it and let's see, because the final year, as I told that in my third year, I didn't studied a lot, and then final year you suddenly have this whole lot of subjects to handle, and I got scared that how am I going to finish it also, and that's when I came to know about BTR, and I just took the subscription that let's see if it works for final year exams. And I did watch short subjects, but I realized because I'm somebody who just can't be doing some rapid source, I need to understand everything in depth. So I realized that I have to see main videos also, because this is the point where I could learn. But when I watched PTR, somehow I at that instant only I connected with ma'am, and I just felt कि अरे यार ऐसा किसी ने पहले तो कभी पढ़ाया ही नहीं इतने अच्छे से इतने मजे से. So that feeling that ma'am gave, so I thought that this is something worth watching, but obviously I didn't have time, and I wanted to build my concepts both practically and although BTR is something which is very much practical, it is not just about Ritta, but still, because I was somebody who hadn't done main videos of any subject didn't do books. So I thought I should focus right now on building that concepts, because this time will never come again. I can watch BTR later also. In fact, right now I'm having 2-3 years to go to NEET PG prep. So let's focus first on building concepts right now.
Okay, so you got 7,000 rank in your INI November 2024 with your rapid revision and previous year questions. So what was the emotion at that time, like relief, regret, or indifference?
So first emotion when the result came is obviously being very much regretful, because you definitely know that 7,000 rank isn't you, and it feels like a very bad rank at first time. Although we all know that how much effort we have put, I knew that I didn't put much effort. I didn't want this to be my serious attempt, but still it felt like no, this is not me. Again, it felt very bad. But I will just thank my seniors for that, because I remembered a lot of my seniors. I was talking. In fact, one of my seniors I still remember. We were in cafeteria and she told me that 7,000 rank means, Sakshita, you have studied. It's just that you need to put on more effort. So this rank means you studied, but it means that you didn't study well. You didn't put that much effort that was required for the exam. And a lot of other seniors also said me the same thing. So that gave me a sense of relief that okay, at least this rank says that I have studied. So it did came with a regret, but inside me I knew that obviously I didn't have that. Most important, I think, sir, for any exam is intent, and I didn't have the intent of clearing it first time. I always wanted to take a 6 months break back home and then give my decent effort, because at the beginning of internship only I knew that I can't handle this much with internship. But okay, we had this internal preference quota I named, so I thought let's give the exam. So I did BTR and PYQs as much I could. So yeah, it did had regret, but later on it more of became a relief and realization after I talked to my seniors, after I analyzed myself with that exam. So
So later, you later said ki it was one of the easiest exams, but your prep wasn't enough. So how important is honest self-assessment in competitive exams?
sir, I think it is very important, the honest self-assessment, because as we see, rank doesn't define us, and people will always have different views on the exam. I mean, I said seniors, there were seniors who said that this is a very good rank. There were seniors or my batchmates, juniors also, who said that this is not a good rank. So people will always have different views. At the end, you are the one being with yourself, so you should know that what was the actual attempt you made, what was the actual thing you did wrong. So I think that's where it plays role. I knew that because while doing the paper only I could realize that this is the topic I studied, this is something I studied here. But obviously, because I didn't have enough MCQ practice, I didn't give that much effort. I obviously couldn't jot down to the right answer. And I knew I also did something wrong with time management. So that not putting very much effort, but putting a little effort at least made me realize that these were the things I did wrong and I have to be more careful next time. So that's where honest self-assessment comes into play, that okay, people will say everything about your rank, but you should be knowing that what you did wrong, because then only you can convert that failure into success. If you know where you went wrong, what was the exact mistake you made.
Okay, so like other people make a GT analysis notebook or something like that, where they used to write either the wrong questions and all, and GT analysis thing. So did you also did the same, and how was your approach for GT analysis?
Yes, sir. I did that after my May INI attempt, which was very late, but still I did it. I did make a GT copy. So my GT analysis notebook used to start with for any GT, I'm still having it close to me. Like if one of my weakest subjects, like the subject you are having, I used to have maximum number of incorrects, that used to come first. And like that in kind of descending order of the number of incorrects, it used to come like that. So most of the times for me it was anatomy or medicine only. So I used to write every single question, even the correct one. Like first is correct, tick. Second is wrong, wrong. And beneath that, the reason that why it went wrong. Was it a silly mistake? Was it something that I forgot? Or was it a totally new concept? So those were the categories. And if it was a new concept, you cannot do anything, because we all know every competitive exam has that 10-15 crazy questions where you have to make intelligent guesses. But the things I was forgetting, those were the ones I had to work on, and those things used to go in my stickies or in my choti copy. So And this was one analysis that was on the basis of, okay, academic level, but there is one analysis which is on emotional level, that was I attentive during the whole exam, like if I was thinking about something else, or how was my emotion, was I tired, like initially when I was giving NEET GTs, I was very tired by the end, because we all are adapted to that 3 hour exam, but it is a 3.5 hour exam, so that half hour was very taxing. And if it was some lengthy long subject like pharma or medicine in that set, I would ruin it up. So I realized that I need to give more GTs to get adapted to that 3.5 hour system. So GT analysis has to be made on multiple levels. And I think it's a very personal thing, but still I feel that this is something which needs to be done more, because ultimately this is the exam you are sitting for, rather than just, otherwise you will be aimlessly just going through books, scrolling notes, scrolling flashcards.
Okay, so how did learning about the stress, diet, and health change your GT performance?
I think the first time I learned about it was when I went for the 4 day NEET PTR GT program. That I learned certain things about myself. In fact, that time they used to have toppers talk at their face to face. So that's when I realized that toppers not actually do it just at academic level, but they see other things also. So I also realized there are certain things, like I realized that when I drink tea before the exam, I'm more attentive. So I made it a point in my all exams after that to drink tea half an hour before. Half an hour ka window to hota hi hai, so I made it a point that I have to drink tea to be more attentive in exam. And certain things you realize, certain tricks you learn, that give up books certain time before the exam to go in that delivery mode, because otherwise if you are just looking at the books, you are still in the receiving mode. In the exam you have to be in delivery mode. So this is one thing which worked for me. I used to my parents only taught me, I used to close my eyes some while, and I used to imagine things going away from me. So that's something which led me to into that delivery mode. uh, Apart from that, like this was the one thing which I used to do. And something which I learned from my mentors only, to think of any worst possibility that can happen in the exam, like the worstest possibility. Like I remember, I used to think before the exam ki theek hai, if my computer screen goes down, then what I should do. So to be prepared, like as the worstest person, ki sabse panauti, sabse bade panauti मैं ही हूँ, तो मेरे साथ क्या क्या हो सकता है. So if my computer screen goes blank, I will read the 1 line questions and attempt them first. If I feel very hot, I will just open this bottle and put it on my head कि ठीक है थोड़ा ठंडा तो लगेगा. So being prepared for those things na give this confidence that ठीक है, I'm prepared for every worst thing that will happen. Because in my NEET PG actual exam happened that I didn't know the first 15 questions, and I was very scared, like what to do. First 20 questions I didn't know. I just attempted 4 questions out of them, and rest were marked for review. And a part of me sang ki, and I had these thoughts कि यार ये exam भी वैसा नहीं जा रहा जैसा सोचा है, अब इसमें भी पोपट होगा, क्या करूंगी मैं. So then I just told myself that ठीक है, these 20 questions are not made for you, but you still have 180 questions to go. And 180 plus to topper के भी correct नहीं होते most of the time. So let's just not give us that faith. We have 160 questions, 170 good questions to do, and we will find them in the rest of the questions. And isme se bhi I have done 5 questions, I have 15 questions, so we will somehow figure that out. So that thing happens till the very in the exam also. So you have to be prepared for this thing. You have to be your best well wisher in the exam, despite whatever kind of person you are. So that's where these all stress and your health and your mental picture plays a very important role.
So you made one rule like MCQs every single day. So what is daily exposure more important than perfection?
So we all know, we all say that practice ultimately leads to perfection. So I feel that doing little daily is better than not studying 3 days and then just jumping off the 4th day. And MCQ practice, I feel a lot of people take it very seriously. They correlate it with GT कि ये अच्छा नहीं हुआ तो इसका मतलब टेस्ट भी अच्छा नहीं जाएगा. But we have to take MCQ as a learning point, because one question can teach you a lot. I have learned a lot of concepts from MCQs rather than just from books. And MCQ is something I started doing not just actively, not solving custom modules and tests, but something passively also. I mean, that did take a lot of effort. If I talk, I'm a person who uses phone a lot while eating. Like I can't eat very silently like normal people. I need somebody to talk or I need my phone. So I replaced my phone YouTube shorts with the T&D, test and discussions, seeing MCQs. So that's one thing which I did differently, which I can say proudly. So I think we make it a very serious thing, but it's basically a part of your study. And when you realize that, with time you start finding joy in it. Like I started liking it a lot at a point. I mean, TNDs had become like my party time only. कि ठीक है पिज्जा आया तो चलो पिज्जा खाते खाते देख लिया, या something else is happening, or whenever I used to feel sick or I was having dysmenorrhea, I just used to watch it. So MCQs, don't correlate it with the main exam. Take it as a learning point. Take it as learning something new. Taking it as something that you get to see your own books, your own notes in the form of questions of exams once you do a certain number of MCQs. And I think this method helped me to cover a lot of MCQs in a very short period of time.
Okay, so you gave both UPSC CMS and NEET PG exam back to back. So how did you manage anxiety across the exams?
So managing anxiety, it was tough because both the exams were just having 2 weeks gap. And I was not anxious before exam, but at the time of exam I was. But it's like during exams you have to be your biggest well-wisher. I think we as human beings are very good at comforting others, comforting, especially as doctors. We have this thing that we are very good at comforting people, but when it comes to our own selves, we are our own very big criticizers. So, but I think this exam you have to be your own well-wisher. You have to remind yourself of everything you have achieved so far. Like I used to remind myself that in UG I did it from 11,000 to 1,300. I will crack this also. I have gone through MBBS being the first batch of a college. So you have to remind all those things that you have accomplished and tell yourself that I have done very well so far. I will do this exam also. This is one thing which I used to do. And the other thing was that both the exams, UPSC and NEET, I treated them as GTs only. I just told myself something which I will say my mentors also said, that give it as the best GT of your life, that this is going to be the best GT of my life, not as an exam, although it does have this pressure that you have to crack it, you have to know your branch. But just few minutes before NEET, few minutes before UPSC, I just told myself that just let's remove this pressure of your dream branch, of anything, of any family problem you are having, because everybody is having their own bunch of problems. Just remove it. Just telling myself that this is another GT. I have scored 160 till now. Now my goal in this test is to break that, to score more than 160 in this exam and give it as the best GT of my life. And I will be very honest, it is one of the best GTs I have ever given. So that's something, that mentality I changed to make myself less anxious in both the exams.
Okay, so you carried your choti copy everywhere. So how important are small personal tools in high stress phases?
I think my choti copy, sir, is I think one of the best relievers, because every time my schedule was not going the right way, I told myself that ठीक है, अगर last में कुछ नहीं हुआ तो ये तो है ही, ये तो करके चली जाऊंगी तो कुछ ना कुछ कर ही दूंगी. So that's where these stickies, I used to carry pictures of my stickies in phone and choti copy in hand. So they were like these stress busters and these that relievers, that okay, this is my weakness, these are the topics I'm weak at. Rest I know. If I just do this much also, then I'm done. Like my weaknesses are, I've seen them once, I will be able to do well in exams. So it gives you that kind of confidence. And I'm not somebody who's a very big promoter, because I have seen people doing good without choti copy also. But I think choti copy offers this benefit of being carried everywhere. Like both my exams, UPSC, NEET, were at different places. So I carried them with me in train. I carried it with me in car during my NEET exam. So, they are, you can carry it anywhere. And even before sleep, sometimes when I was not able to sleep, I had those sleepless nights, I just used to open my choti copy, start reading it and fall asleep without knowing. So I think there's where it plays an important role. But everybody has their own way of consolidating. There are people who I've seen that they say we highlighted our notes in a way that we knew our weaknesses. So I always tell my juniors also that, you should know your weaknesses and you should know how to revise them. That is your own personal thing. But this was my take, that I wanted to make a choti copy. I made it, and I think it is one of the best things that I have made.
So before INI, you were sick and had an interview days before the exam. So what made you still show up?
So I was having a tonsillitis before a few days before interview, and it was very bad. I was not able to eat even, and I think for the first time in my life, I had this dermatitis in my lower limbs, which was like very bad. You have this sense of itch, but you can't, and you have interview in 2 days in UPSC Bhavan, and I will be very honest, it was my childhood dream. It was a 16-year-old's dream, somebody who used to see interviews on YouTube of UPSC. I always thought that one day I will give it. So, although when I entered medical college, I realized that ये 19 सब्जेक्ट ही बहुत है, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं होगा. And I'm lucky I came to know about CMS. So, it was like a childhood dream to go to that UPSC bhavan, like embrace that aura and face the examiners, face the interviewers. So it's like I had this thought. I had all the reasons of not giving two exams because I had a good rank in NEET PG. But then I reminded myself that no, this is my dream. I want to experience it once, no matter how bad it goes, no matter I get kicked out of that door, I will give it. Let's see whatever happens. So, you remember those dreams. You remember that these might be the last exams you are giving. And that just leads to this courage that I have to show up no matter what. ठीक है. And I have had situations like that previously in my life. I had esophagitis in my second year's exam. And second year is the one I am having two distinctions in. So I remembered all the bad times. I had otitis media in my 8th boards, and that was the first time I topped. So you remember all those moments that ठीक है, बुरी हालत तो बहुत पहले भी थी, अभी भी है, तो हिम्मत पहले भी की थी, अब भी है, कर लेते हैं. So that's the thing that come to your mind and you show up.
So you said something beautiful like courage sometimes matters more than confidence. So can you explain that?
Yes, sir. I feel both these exam, it was because I had lost the confidence. Being very sick, I just felt like I cried a lot before my INI. I had vomited. I had cried a lot in front of my parents that I don't think it will go good. Even for interview, I was very nervous. I had lost all the confidence, but a part of me had that courage that okay, let's show up, because I think in the entire prep at one point it's not just about syllabus, how knowledgeable you are. It ends up being showing up every day, showing up despite you knowing that you might fail, despite you knowing you might drown, and all the things are against you in this universe, but you feel that nee, I have given it so much, I can't give up so easily at this point, so close to exam. So I did the courage, I went for interview, it went decent. And as far as I think it was a dream to get a 3-digit rank or a 2-digit rank, and I got a 3-digit rank. So it did went well at certain levels, and I was getting good branches in that also. So I think that's where courage plays more role than confidence sometimes. That you just have to show up and believe it that I have done well. The God knows, everybody knows how much I've done. I know. Just let's show up and see what happens.
Okay, so not clearing CMS felt like a loss. So how did you reframe that emotionally?
It did feel a loss, sir, because my both the exams, my interview also and my theory also went decent. So I was expecting a good result, and I think I was in a more bad situation when I saw my own report, and it showed just that I had lost by 2 marks. And you had this thought that 2 marks to 4 questions छोड़ दिए होते तब भी आ जाते. So those kinds of thoughts were coming, but then you realized that the amount of success you have achieved, and I just reminded myself of everything that I have achieved so far: the INI rank, the NEET rank, and being a Salahkar, and the NEET rank that gave me a chance to change my entire story, to write my story differently, taking up radiology, a branch I never thought. I thought it is just for those few 100, 150 topper huge students who are meant for it, not for somebody like me. Getting that branch, publishing a lot of papers, having research experience also with this NEET PG prep. So you remind yourself of all the successes you have achieved. So I think that kind of covered one loss, and I felt that maybe this is something, and it's not that I can't give the exam again. I reminded myself. I always say, my mother always say this to me, that if you get something, it's good. If you don't, it's even better. So I try to find a little positivity in negativity also. So I think that's something that covered it. All the positive things that happened, I just covered this negative thing with it.
So those people who are listening to you right now, matlab, how do you make peace with mixed outcomes?
So I think we all should understand that life is something. Life is a mix of something. I think all of us have been taught that we are always said that एक बार ये हो गया +2 हो गया या एक बार 10th हो गया फिर मजे मजे या एक बार ये हो गया तो मजे मजे. It's like life is about this exam also and that मजे वाला factor also. It's a mixed thing. We have to understand that, and it comes with its own baggage. You might have success Monday, you might have failure Monday, and I'm somebody who has been taught by my mother that the only failure that you can anytime have in your life is losing someone in your life. That is something which is inevitable. Anything else that is having is not a failure until unless you decide to give up. So that is what I have been taught, and that is what I have realized so far, that until unless you don't give up, you can't say it a failure. It is just a mistake. If you understand it, if you rectify it, it will become your success.
Okay. So what has this journey taught you about the success and failure coexisting?
It has taught me, sir, that obviously I had some good parts, I had some bad parts, that success and failure always coexist. I think failure is something we have made the word so big, so huge. We have made it like it is the end of the life, but it is basically you made a mistake and you fell. Now it's up to you. You can either just sit on the ground and cry, or you can decide to get up, walk even with a wounded foot, and you might be close to your own achievement very soon. So I feel failure is more of like a mistake. If you decide to correct it, to understand where you went wrong, everybody has it, and I think everybody has its own way of dealing it. And I am okay with it ki, theek hai, you can cry, you can do anything, but just don't give up. That's my only message, that don't give up. I mean, life is so beautiful. There are a lot of people who are just wanting to live another day and they don't have it, and we are so lucky to have it, to see new morning, and even more lucky to help people live one more day. Like, we have this brilliant job of saving lives, so we can't be the one who can take success and failure so seriously. So that's my take on it.
Okay, so last question for you. If a student listening feels stuck today, so what is the one thing you want them to remember?
I want him to remember that, sir, everybody's stuck in their own mess in the life. I mean, we all are. I mean, of course, you are an officer, but you might be having some daily thing that, "Arey yaar, ye karna hai, wo karna hai." Everybody's stuck in their own mess. In their own kind of mess. That, yeah, this is also going in life. And I think I've realized everybody is having their different kind of things fighting. I've seen people fighting for their branch. People who are women who are pregnant, women who are rearing a child, people who have lost their parents just before exam, people going through a lot. So I want to tell somebody who's stuck that everybody's stuck. Everybody is fighting their own kind of emotional battle. Even I had battles in my family where my mother fell so sick and I felt so helpless, and it felt like, even is it even worth it? Everybody has their own battles going on, but you just want to see what happens if you don't give up, because you have to realize you have a bigger purpose to it. You have come so far, you have already become a doctor. You just now need an MD degree to be attached with your name, nothing else. I mean, after some time it won't even matter that much. Even this rank won't matter. We all will just become people of our own branches. Like, right now you are a surgeon, I will become a radiologist, and sometimes somebody else. So we are just people who are going to be known as a doctor of that branch. So it's not that a big thing. Although I can understand somebody seeing this might feel ki, theek hai, you have a good rank, now you can say this. Of course I can say this, but I am somebody, we all are somebody who have been to the other side, who had this emotional baggage. So everybody's stuck in their own emotional baggage. So it's just that you have to show up, and you have to tell yourself that I have a bigger purpose. I have done so much good in life, and I'm getting opportunity to do more in life, to show up the next day, to see the next morning. So let's make it worthwhile. Let's give it all.
Okay, so now we'll start our rapid fire round where you have to answer the questions in just one line. The first is my rank is.
So rank, according to me, is an opportunity and not your identity. So don't take it that seriously. Ultimately, you are a doctor and nobody can snatch it from you right now. That
So my biggest mistake in UG was.
My biggest mistake in UG was that I didn't consolidate enough, which I made sure I did in PG, and I did it. And that's why I have the rank which I have.
So the turning point of my PG prep was.
The turning point definitely was the 4-day NEET BTR GT program at Vidya Jeevan, where I first time realized the values of GT, and I can't be more grateful to all the teachers at Vidya Jeevan, Zainab ma'am, Ravi sir, Apoor sir. The kind of place they have created, the kind of aura they have created, meeting people. I think that's the place where I realized that everybody is having their own, emotional, mentally challenging games going on, and everybody is having one problem or the other. And that's where I realized that one GT is not just about 200 questions, it's about 4 to 800 topics that you can learn from one GT. And I realized how much I was losing by not giving GT, because ma'am has this wonderful way of teaching, so many things from just one MCQ.
Okay, so the rapid revision worked for me because.
So the rapid revision BTR worked for me because because I used it in the right way. I think most of the people right now consider BTR or RR, just to be those set of notes and just completing it. But you have to use it in a way that you should be knowing. BTR is basically a consolidated source, but you have to consolidate it in your own way, and it would be possible only if you do MCQs repeatedly. And if you see BTR as a whole source, the compiled modules, the MCQs, the test and discussions, everything, it's a pretty much complete source. It's just that you have to use it, you have to do the questions, you have to understand your mistakes and know your weaknesses and see them repeatedly and make them your strength.
So courage means.
So courage means for me to show up every day, despite whatever happens, despite how bad your day goes, how sick you are, or whatever you are going through. And I think at preparation, I used to underestimate, when people used to ask last 10 days mein kya kare, why everyone is so emotional about last 10 days mein kya kare, matlab kya hi change ho jata hai. But when I experienced it first time myself during my NEET PG prep, I realized that yeah, last 10 days become very difficult, because you can't wait that are khatam ho bas yaar exam or nahi sehn ho raha. So but it's about that you have to remind yourself every day of the effort you have put so far to come this far to your journey, and to show up to be more better in this journey. So courage after a point, and I think on a daily basis also it becomes about showing up and seeing yourself that it's a beautiful day where I get a chance to be a better doctor, to be a better person at saving lives.
So message to someone who about to give up.
Message to someone about to give up, I mean, that if you will give up, it won't happen. I mean, it is a very rare chance, until unless you are a very special person, that it might happen for you if you give up. But still, I mean, just see once what happens if you don't give up. I mean, this is the quote which sustained me the entire year. I have this still as my wallpaper on my phone. It is written in the back also that I want to see what happens if I don't give up. Something which sustained me the entire year. I hope it helps you sustain the entire year. So let's see what happens if you don't give up. At least you can, if it happens your way, you get a good story to tell somebody. And if it doesn't, it means you made a mistake and you get a chance to rectify it again. I mean, every other day is a beautiful day you get to rectify your mistake. So just see that. So don't give up. Just see once what happens if you don't give up.
Okay, Sakshita, then thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey. So your journey reminds us that medicine is not conquered by knowledge alone, but by consistency, consolidation, and control of the mind under pressure. So you teaches us that the failure is not the opposite of success. It is often the classroom where the success is built. That sometimes confidence is absent, but courage is enough. And the one honest phase of effort can change the direction of an entire life. So if you are listening today and feeling behind, confused or tired, remember your rank is not your worth. Your timing is not your limitation, and your story is still unfolding. So this is Salaah Shots, where real journeys shape stronger doctors.